now coming through. Picture it. Maybe the brother who carried, they came with silver, with bag full of silver. They came to trade. They didn't come to reconcile with a long lost brother. They came for trading. And maybe the brother who carried the silver, what shall I say? The silver coins, he came forward and spilled the coins on the table, asking for grain. And when Joseph saw the silver coins, I'm sure he's a human, he's man, his lips must have started trembling. These things happen to us, isn't it? Right? When our memories of the past are brought before us, we can't handle it. His lips would have started quivering. His tummy would have gone into a churn. Right? Because Joseph, his son Manasseh, meaning Genesis 51 says, he named him Manasseh, and he deliberately named him Manasseh because it meant God made me forget my toil and all my father. He named his son Manasseh. But the money, the Hebrew money, made him to remember everything. It was a difficult time for him. The last time he saw coins in the hands of his brothers, they were laughing, trading him away. They had no mercy at that point of time. He was whimpering, he was calling out for mercy, but they were laughing. That day at the pit, he searched. All the 10 brothers were there, all older to him. He and he was looking for a friend. He thought, amongst my brothers, can there be a friend? Can one of them, their hearts be melted? But he found none. But now see the turn of events. They dare to bring silver to him. But today, look at Joseph's response or reaction. Joseph scowled at his brothers. 42:7. He acted as a stranger to them and spoke harshly or roughly to them. He's asking them, who are you? Where do you come from? And the brothers fall flat on the dirt. And it reminded him of his childhood dream. Remember, Joseph had a double dream that his brothers would fall down before him, and his brothers and his parents would come and would pay obeisance to him, worship him. And he remembered his dream. He remembered the dream. All 10 brothers, as he was speaking roughly to them, all the brothers spoke at once. And they are saying, you're mistaken, your honor. We belong to the same family. There were 12 of us in all. At least, they're saying, at least there used to be. They're saying, we are honest men. We are sons of one father. They're saying the youngest is still back with the father, and one is no longer living. Actually, this was the first report about his family that he heard in 20 years. He's beginning to realize Jacob is Benjamin, my own brother, by my own mother, is alive. And these boys, these brothers think I am dead. See what's happening inside Joseph. And Joseph snaps back at them. He's hiding all his emotions and he's speaking roughly. Don't we do that? When we are emotionally, something is happening inside us because of the past, because of events of the past, then we become rough and we become rude sometimes. We become callous. We speak harshly because of the churning that's happening inside of us. And he says in Genesis 42:15-16, I'll let one of you go back and get your brother and bring him here. Now he's wanting Benjamin. And he says, the rest of you I'll throw in jail. Look at the series, look at the turn around of events. On that occasion 20 years ago, they conspired against him. They threw him in the hole and ignored his cries for help. He was 17 years and in the wilderness, away from the father's home. He's crying for help. But things have turned around for him because God was with Joseph. What's going on? What's happening here? As I was pondering on this message and thinking about it, I think this was the toughest challenge in Joseph's life. The famine, by comparison, was easy. Mrs. Potiphar, he could resist. Pharaoh's assignments, he could manage. But this mixture of hurt and hate that's surging when he saw his own flesh and blood after 20 years, Joseph didn't know how to handle. He didn't know what to do. Brothers and sisters, maybe you don't either. Maybe your family failed you. Your early years were hard ones. The people who should have cared for you didn't or couldn't. But like Joseph, God was with Joseph. But like Joseph, you have made the best of a bad situation. You made a life for yourself. And even you began, like Joseph, started a family for yourself. And when in a situation like that, maybe you are also anxious to leave the past in the rear view mirror, but God isn't. You want to leave it, you don't want to look at it, but God isn't going to let you or me leave our past in the past. And the amazing thing is, because God is molding our lives, He's not letting us be as we are. He gives us more than we request. He goes deeper than we ask. And He wants not only your whole heart, He wants not only my whole heart, but He wants also my heart whole. Can you get that? Yes, He wants not only your whole heart, He wants your heart whole. Think about it. There's a reason. Because hurt people usually hurt people. When we are a hurt people, we hurt people. And God is intended to get down into the depths of our inward parts. Look at your responses and look at mine. Why do we fly off the handle? Or sometimes why do we avoid conflict? Or why do we want to please people all the time? What are our tendencies? Maybe some of our tendencies, maybe some of the struggles we have had, and we wondered, why am I like that? Why am I like that? Maybe it has something to do with with the unhealed past, with the unhealed hurts in our own heart. But God wants to help you and help me. I can preach this message out of personal experience. The Lord called us to minister, and I have learned the pastoral or the ministry on my feet. Think about what my past was and whatever. When I was young, I used to think my mother was the most noble woman I have ever come across in my life. A very noble, noble, gentle lady. Some of you know her. But I had this thing. I used to think my mother is favoring her two boys. And I used to think she kind of neglects me. And once my father died, I thought I was my father's pet. And once my father passed away, this used to be gnawing in my heart. And there was incidents. I may have related this to you. Auntie Abhisekara, my mom, and bring me also 2 packs of milk toffees. And she used to give me a pack of milk toffees, few pieces, maybe 20 pieces, and give my mother also maybe 10 pieces of milk toffee. So I have my share, I share it around, etc. Then my mother, she would hide some of the milk toffees like mothers would do, and she would keep it for her sons to visit her so that she could give them a milk toffee each. I tell you, I'm the pastor's wife. We have services at home, all of that. But the day I see or I catch a glimpse of my mother sharing or giving the boys, giving her sons, my two brothers, Lalit and Hemal, one of them, when they come to me, visit her, and when the day she gives them a milk toffee, I tell you, all hell breaks loose in the house. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there's no peace in the house. Because why? Sharing a milk toffee with my brother. Immediately I go into a spin and I think, oh, this is it. I am neglected. She always did that. My father is not there to defend me. My father is not there to keep a milk toffee and give me. Look at what she's doing. I go into a spin and I scream and I cry. I'm the pastor's wife. On Sunday, I say, yes, we must be patient, we must be nice, we must be long-suffering, forbearing, all the things I knew to say at that time. Some years ago this was, at Visakha Road especially, I would say all the right things, but my emotions were taking hold of me, overtaking me. I used to pray, yes. I learned prayer on my knees. I am one who loves the word of the Lord, the scriptures. But those emotions, I had no victory. So I would scream, yell. And my husband, dear, he would take the Bible and go to his prayer corner and he is lost. Where he didn't know how to handle those emotions that I was bursting out with. It was terrible. It was an awful time in the home. When the mother goes off the handle. Hurt people. My foster daughter was there. She would go into her side. And it was terrible. The language I use, the emotions I express. You wouldn't believe that this is the same person speaking. It was terrible. And then one day, my daughter must have been about 8 or 10 years old. She watched this drama taking place maybe once in 3 months or so. She used to watch this drama. And one day, she looks at her father. She sees he's helpless. He used to think, I better not speak. And I'm acting that same drama. And one day she came to me and she said, Amme, why are you behaving like this? Surely, why are you crying like this? Why are you screaming like this? In a few sentences, she said, can't you see that Tati and I love you so much? Moment she said that, she said, why are you fighting with Archie? Moment she said that, a dart went through my own heart. And all the hurt, the imagined, perceived hurt that was controlling my life went down. And I tell you, I was born again that day. And a transformation took hold of my life. I'm sharing this because I know we are Christians. We've been Christians for long years. We may be serving the Lord. But we put on a mask without allowing the hurt of the past, facing it rather than denying it, facing it and allowing the Holy Spirit to deal with our lives. When we are in the will of God, God will shake up our life. Because the Lord wants to help you. He wants to help me for our sakes. Do you have any broken family relationship this evening in your life? Some people you want to forget about. Sure, they have done wrong. They have done unfairly by you. But God begins to turn the heat up on these relationships and He begins to shake them up. I would urge you, brothers and sisters, as we go through this message and as you go back home this coming week, Just pause for a moment, even despite the excitement of the election results. Sit with God. Sit with your emotions and thoughts. Think about those relationships and ask God for His guidance and His help. Maybe God is disrupting the comfortable distance that you have kept with some people.